There are 6 topics to cover in grade 11, and we were discussing the basics of programming. In this topic, actually, what we are going to do, we are going to look at how are we going to solve a given problem using computers. So we'll be looking at building algorithms, which means the solution to a problem, listing step by step, and then convert the algorithm into a code, find bugs, errors in the coding, and then you are going to run the program. So we are going to look at everything. And this we are going to also look at Pascal programming, right? When we talk about the solving a problem, there are 5 parts. Problem analysis, which means you look at input, output, and processes. Then you build the algorithm, which means you create algorithm. Then you convert the algorithm to a program or a code, and then you find any errors in the program, which we call bug, and correct them, which means debugging, and then finally running the program, right? So we discussed a couple of things, how to identify input output process. Now, for example, given 2 numbers, we know the 2 numbers are the input, and the total of the 2 numbers is the output, and to do that you have to add 2 numbers together. So basically identify, this is we call the analysis. So that part we have done. The next, actually, we looked at developing algorithms. And developing algorithms, there are a couple of ways to develop algorithm. You can use many techniques, flow charts as well as pseudocodes. Flow chart means graphical representation. Pseudocode means not actual code, but you write the program by in simple English terms, right? And for the beginners, people recommend to use flow charts, the graphical symbols. It's very easy to understand. So we were looking at how to represent algorithms using flow chart. So last time we look at how to write flow charts. We did couple of examples. So first of all, we look at how to draw 2 numbers. Let me share the program. So when we draw flow charts, you need to remember a couple of things. First of all, use of symbols. You have to use correct symbols. For example, start and end, we have this shape. So we say start, and then the input and output, you have to parallelograms like this. So we have to get the first number and then the second number, and then you can find the total by adding the 2 numbers. You calculate the total value, and finally you print out the total, right? So this is what we call the flow chart for adding 2 numbers. And if you look carefully, this is called sequence because you are going to execute all the instruction from top to bottom. You have a sequence. You first start, then you get first number, then second number, then perform the total addition, and then you print out the total, and this is the end. So which means you have a sequence when executing. Right. So today we are going to look at more examples. Right? Today we are going to look at more examples. So to start with, we want to discuss, there are 3 control structures we have to learn, right? There are 3 control structures. So let's take down. There are three types of control structures. There are three types of control structures. Used when developing algorithms. අපි අන්තිමට ඇඳලා තියෙන flow chart එකනේ ඒකට පස්සේ ලියා ගන්න. There are three types of control structures used when developing algorithms. If you finish taking down, please let me know. Right, thanks Janani. So under this, let's take down. There are three types of control structures. Sequence, first one. Second one is called selection. Third one is repetition. There are three types of control structures used when developing algorithms: sequence, selection, and repetition. So these three types of control structure defines how a program executes, right? පුතල ලියාගෙන ඉවර නම් කියන්න. Sequence, selection, and repetition. So we'll start with sequence. Write a subtopic, sequence. පුතා sequence කියලා ලියලා ඒක යටින් ලියා ගන්න. When a program executes, all the statements from top to bottom then it is known as sequence control structure. When a program executes all the statements from top to bottom. Then it is known as sequence control structure, right? So then you draw this. So this is task 1, task 2, task 3. The line indicates that you start from the top, you perform task 1, then you perform task 2, then you perform task 3 and go. So if your flow charts look like this, that means if you see the statements one after the other like this, so we call this is as sequence. පොතල ලියාගෙන ඉවර නම් මට chat එකේ කියන්න. Finished? Okay, thanks, Samasha. Let's do the second example. Now, if you go back, even our first example, drawing a flowchart to add two numbers, it's sequence. Because all the instruction we have executed from top to bottom, right? So the first example is also example for sequence control structure, right? So let's do the second one. Let's take down second one. Draw a flowchart to calculate the area of a rectangle. So what we have to do is draw a flowchart to calculate area of a circle. First of all, let's do the analysis. What is the input? Yes, what is the input? Can one of you tell me what is the input? Pramudi? Yes, we know that it should be length and width. Yes. What is the process? Amasha, what is the process? We need to find the area, isn't it? Yes. We have to multiply length with width, isn't it? So that's a process. The output, yes. What is the output, Amasha? It's area of the rectangle, isn't it? So the first thing is you have to figure out this one, right? Now, once you figure out this one, you can start drawing the flow chart. So let's draw together. We say start. Then we can say input length. Then input width. And area equals, we know that length into width. Finally, we know that area and finally end, isn't it? Finally end. Right. Now let's draw the shapes. Let's draw the shapes. So I'm using a mouse, so my shapes are not that good, but I hope you can draw better. So this is the start, and then this is the input. And then you have width, again another input. So these are two inputs, isn't it? So I can have flow lines go one after the other like this. Okay. Yes, next one. So it will be a process, right? So you have to use rectangular shape. Yes, that's a rectangular shape. Then display area, again output. So the output should be like this. Input output, you have this parallelogram shape. So that's the display area. Final one, it's the end, same as the start. Then we can end like this. So we start from the beginning, it's a start, you are getting length and the width, and then you multiply to get the area of the rectangle, and then you display the area. So you will see that all these steps execute one after the other. So because of that, this is a sequence control structure, right? So when you draw, when you finish the drawing, please let me know in the chat. Right? Achira, amaru deka? Achira? So in this example, you are supposed to draw a flow chart to calculate the area of a circle. Identify what are the inputs, what are the outputs, and the process. Yes, can you put the answers in the chat, please? Before you draw the flow chart. Once you draw the flow chart, send it to me through WhatsApp. So what we discuss, input, output, and the process. Now we need the radius. Process is 5r squared or 5 radius square, and the output is area. Now